All right, guys. Offensive personnel frequency for week 6. Let's have a little discussion today about what happened in week 6, what we're going to do with all these injuries, and the players that remain that maybe can contribute. All right, guys, let's get it. What's up, Eagles Nation? What's going on, NFL world? How you doing, Division Rivals? This is Steven Hyder with Gate City Sports Channel, the sports channel where the cerebral NFL fan comes for about 10 minutes of daily content. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whenever it is you get around to watching this. Once again, guys, my name is Steven Hyder, and this is Gate City Sports Channel. All right, y'all, today's topic, like I said, guys, offensive, personnel frequency. That's what we're looking at today. And let's just talk for a second about what we did in week 6, and I'll give you a perspective of the overall season totals, all right? It should be no surprise that we're playing a lot of 11-man in the absence of some of these players, right? So, for instance, 71% of snaps last week came out of 11-man. That totaled like 34 snaps in total. We played 22% from 12-man, which totaled out to 14 snaps. We played 2 snaps out of 13-man, which totaled out to be about 3% of snaps. And then we ran 1 snap out of 10-man, 1 snap out of 20-man. 10-man being 1 running back, 4 receivers on the field. 20-man being 2 running backs, 3 receivers on the field, okay? So, what does this tell us? Well, it's tipping the balance of some of the things for the season in our season totals. Last week, I told you we were almost at 50% of snaps being taken out of 11-man, which, it's not who we are normally. It's what we haven't been recently, since 2018, really, right? So we know this is happening because of injury mostly. But on the season now, 11-man, 52% of all snaps, totaling 209 snaps coming out of 11-man personnel now, guys. 12-man personnel, right? So 2 tight end sets. 43% or 171 plays now in the season. So obviously more 11-man than 12-man, and now that distance is growing by almost 10 percentage points on the season. 21-man. 21-man being 2 running backs, 1 tight end, guys. Obviously 2 receivers. 1% of snaps. 5 plays in total, okay? 22-man. 2 running backs, 2 tight ends, 1 receiver. On the season, 1% of snaps, totaling about 3 snaps in total, 3 plays in total. 13-man personnel, 1 running back, 3 tight ends, 1 receiver. On the season, 1% of snaps, equaling about 5 plays. 10-man personnel. Once again, guys, we ran this week 6 first time in the year. It's 1 running back and 4 wide receivers on the field, 1 snap. That doesn't really total for the season, even a percentage point, but 1 snap on the year. 20-man, 2 running backs, 3 receivers. Yeah, it's a continuation of a 3-receiver set. 1% of snaps. Or I'm sorry, not even a percent of snap. 1 play, 0% of snaps on the year. 2-man personnel, 0 running backs, 2 tight ends, 3 receivers. Another continuation of a 3-receiver set. 1% of snaps, or 4 total. 4 plays on the year total, okay? So that's the diversity of the formations we have run on the year. We all know what's going on here, guys. We are down 7 offensive linemen. We are down Dallas Goedert and Zach Ertz at this point now. We are down Alshon Jeffrey, Deshaun Jackson, Jalen Reagor. I mean, sorry, guys. Let me adjust this for a second. We're down a whole lot of offensive weapons on the season, guys. I mean, a ton of offensive weapons. And we can look at this negatively because being down this amount of personnel sucks. No doubt about it, guys. We can also look at some of the justification for things. Like, number one, we played 14 snaps out of 12-man personnel last week, right? A lot of people were asking, like, Gate, what happened to Travis Fulgham? Why was he not targeted, until, it didn't look like until the second half of the game? Well, his first target came, midway through the second quarter. It's been reported now. Now, the reason that happened is because of protection issues. Even though we lack, the personnel to run a lot of 2 tight end sets, we almost had to with, a mixture of, Rodgers and a mixture of Ertz and a mixture of Croom, Jason Croom. So, we had to max protect a lot, and that's going to affect, things. It clearly took away from targets. We can argue about whether that's a smart idea, that's a smart thing to do, because I don't think it is either. I think it's better just to move the pocket, roll the pocket, or, maybe evolve to a Pittsburgh style of offense, what they're doing with Ben Roethlisberger, who's been notorious for holding the ball too in his career. But now he's saying, I got to get this ball in my hands because I'm not taking these hits. So, there's different ways of getting around this, but, you can max protect when you really need to, but I don't think we should be going into this max protection as much as we are. I think we should be moving the pocket a little more or getting the ball to Carson Wentz's hands faster. I think those are the other alternatives to doing something like that. Now, on the year, just some positive notes of what we're seeing develop, guys. We have a natural boundary side X receiver. We got a guy that can go into contested windows and go make those catches, right? I kept harping that we needed a guy with an appropriate size frame, with the weight behind his butt, right? Appropriate arm length to go out there and make those catches. A guy who, on top of it, can also separate, and Travis Fulgham. Travis Fulgham is a huge piece to get, guys. He really makes the future of this wide receiver core very bright. I'm very happy with Travis Fulgham, and I think we've got a player in Greg Ward Jr. I think Greg Ward Jr. is limited to an extent, but I think he's a solid player, and I think this is a kid that I don't worry about him being the slot. I know there'll be times where they'll take Greg Ward Jr. out of the slot. No doubt about it. They'll put somebody in a little faster with a little more vertical element to their game. But Greg Ward Jr. is a solid conversion guy. He's a solid, starter, guy that you can start your series with. Little quick 2 or 3 yard pass that you hope he gains another 2-3 yards off of, basically. What I will focus on here is if we can just get the production we need out of the Z. If Hightower could develop, completely to where he's making those catches that he shouldn't, that he's dropping currently and he shouldn't be dropping, right? If Djax can, I don't know what's going on with Djax, guys, but we need him on the field because the talent is there with Djax. We know Djax's talent, but I'm starting to question the effort too, guys. I'm going to be honest here. Djax coming back could be a huge lift. We need Rager back in a hurry, guys. Getting Rager to team with Travis Fulgham, to team with Greg Ward Jr., with Hightower and Quez Watkins for the future, holy crap, it's going to be bright, guys. It's going to be a really good future. But we need a Z right now, so that way we can keep developing and running these 11-man offenses. And on the topic of 11-man, let's talk about totals on the season. 2 running back sets. So when I say 2 running back sets, guys, I'm talking about 21-man, 2 running backs and 1 tight end and 2 receivers. 22-man, 2 running backs, 2 tight ends and 1 receiver. And I'm talking 20-man personnel, right? 2 running backs and 3 receiver sets. I'm talking all of those, okay? All those things have to kind of come together, right? All those things have to be together for that to be a 2-man. On the year, we've only run 9 snaps out of that. Some of that has to do with Miles Sanders kind of being in and out of the lineup, but also it's a lack of creativity too. 2 tight end sets. When I say 2 tight end sets, guys, I'm talking about everything from 12-man personnel to 22-man personnel to 2-man personnel. 2-man personnel being no running backs, 2 tight ends, and 3 receivers. It also counts for 3 receiver sets too. It's like 179 or so snaps on the year, something like that, guys, when you count in that 20-man personnel with it, somewhere in that area between 175 and 179 on the year. When we look at 13-man, right, playing 3 tight end sets, basically what the Eagles call their jumbo package almost. Right now, it's 5 plays on the year. When we look at 4 wide receiver sets, so far we've had 1 play on the year with that. That'd be a 10-man personnel, guys, would be that at this point. And then when we look at things like 3 receiver sets, so that's everything from 11-man to 20-man to 2-man. Anytime there's 3 receivers on the field, currently we have 214 snaps on the year with 3 receivers on the field. Just to give you a full circumstance here. What do I think I could see going into the future? I would be interested to see some stuff being run from an element of surprise with the roster when it comes to the formation of 3 wide receiver sets, because we do have some very versatile guys like Hakeem Butler, Jason Croom out there. Who these guys are really these weird, like, kind of Joshua Perkin types, right? They're a little different. Hakeem Butler's a much longer, bigger guy. I mean, guy's got like 10-inch hands. He's got freaking 35-inch arms. Like, he's a big, long guy. Like, don't get me wrong. Jason Croom, though. Jason Croom is a very prototypical guy you would expect to really play the X, but he got converted during his time in Tennessee and before he got to Buffalo as a tight end. This is a guy that has an 80-inch wingspan. He's got 9.63 inch, hands. So he's got above 9.5-inch hands, which is the typical size I always harp on for these type of positioning, and 33-inch, arms. So he's got that length that we really hope, Zach Ertz would have. So I'm looking at these guys as a wide tight end. So what I'm talking about is if you do something like, 2-man personnel with 3 receivers and 2 tight ends on the field, it can get really interesting with Hakeem Butler and Jason Croom in there as your wide tight ends if Zach Ertz is down for that period of time. And then you got a guy like Dallas Goedert coming back who's also got 35-inch, arms as well. He's well over 80-inch wingspan, Dallas Goedert is, as your F tight end, that flex tight end, alongside of having a guy like Fulgham now that has that crazy reach as well. He's a natural X that you can use, right? You got guys like, if you can get that natural flankers out there again, right? Like Rager and Djax, what this offense could be. That's what I'm going to take away from it, guys. One final note I'll give you guys before I jump off of here. I did run some numbers on the amount of total 11-man on the season. So I said 52% out of 11-man, but just to clarify, I don't mean 11-man. I mean 3 receiver sets. So the total number of 3 receiver sets on the year, so when you take 2-man personnel and 20-man personnel and 11-man personnel, and you lump that all together, it is 214 plays out of 399 that's been recorded. And that came out to 53.6%, rounded up 54% of plays on the season being run with 3 wide receivers on the field of some sort. All right, y'all. That's the video for the day. Hope you guys got some value out of this. I tried to do this, guys, from my home. I couldn't do it. I apologize, man. The lighting wasn't right, and I didn't feel like digging for my blackout curtains to film correctly. So it's mobile from the car, guys. All right, y'all. Thank you all for tuning in, man. I appreciate you. You know, in these videos, we do a little E-A-G-L-E-S. All right, y'all. Let's go, Eagles.